Alright, what's going on, guys? Try back again here, bringing you another video. This one's going to be talking about who should play the next Batman. Yeah, both in the next Batman movie that comes out in a couple years and the Justice League movie, because I think it's pretty safe to assume that Warner Brothers will probably try to coordinate, and regardless of whichever one comes out first, whatever actor they get to play in Justice League, they should probably have him also play Batman in the newer Batman movies that will be coming out in the future. I mean, I think we can assume that they're probably going to launch another few Batman movies, and hopefully they'll be able to keep the same actor on for most of them. Because I think pretty much every 3 years, you're going to get a new Batman movie. I mean, he's just such a property that Warner Brothers, to not come out with a movie every few years, every 3 or 4 years, would just be like losing money for no reason. So business-wise, they're going to be making a Batman movie every couple of years, just regardless. Plus, he's a great superhero because he's got so many comic books and source material that they can work from. Also, he's got tons of rogues and rogues gallery. He can, there's so many different villains you could choose for a Batman movie that would work. I mean, in the Nolan trilogy, you've got to see Ra's al Ghul and Scarecrow and Bane and, done right, I should say. And, yeah, the others have been done before, but, those were unique. And also there's others, too. We still haven't seen a Mr. Freeze done properly. We haven't seen a lot of villains done properly. Poison Ivy, maybe. I mean, there's lots of choices that you could go with. Clayface has never been in a movie. There's lots of villains. Solomon Grundy, any other DC characters they could use. So obviously the potential that make a Batman movie every 3 years is always there, and it's probably going to happen every 3 or 4 years for a long time, unless they start not making money, which I don't know if that will ever happen, because at this point I think Batman's the biggest superhero of all. I think he's surpassed Superman at this point. Now, people may disagree with me and say Superman's still #1, but I feel like at this point Batman has become #1. So who should play him in the next movie? Let's get into some ideas people have been throwing around. I searched the internet, got a few actors that we can talk about that would be good for the role, or maybe not so good for the role, and hear from you guys on what you think. Now, obviously, we can't talk about everybody because there's so many freaking actors. It's unbelievable, and there's lots of them that would be good to play Bruce Wayne and Batman. The thing about it is, when you're picking an actor, they got to be able to play both, and they're almost like two different characters. You have the Bruce Wayne persona, you have Batman's persona, and then you sort of have in the middle when he's kind of like in the cave and that kind of stuff. So you got the phony Bruce Wayne that's out and about wearing a mask, and then you've got Batman, obviously, who's going to be played completely differently, and then you've got the character in the middle, which is probably like the real true Bruce Wayne, so to speak, the one that he doesn't show really. So let's go over a couple. So the first one I think that would actually be pretty damn good would be Tom Cruise. Think about it for a second. Now, I know Tom Cruise has got a bad name for himself at this point because, I mean, the guy just does some stupid shit in the real world, man. He just does some stupid shit. I mean, there's so many things that he's done. The Scientology, I'm not even going to get into it. The Scientology thing, all the other stuff, whatever. He's crazy. We all know that. But he's a damn good actor. And he looks a whole hell of a lot like Bruce Wayne. And he definitely could. I mean, if he cuts his hair right, maybe if they dye it, whatever they have to do. But he's also got the clean look, too, sort of similar to Christian Bale in that regard. And he can do the action scenes. He's not afraid to do his own stunts. He's not afraid to, do all this kind of crazy stuff like, the scene in the last Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, I think it was called, where he's on like the top of like the tallest building in the world in Dubai and all this stuff. Unbelievable. If he's willing to do that, he looks the part. He's a great actor. He's got an amazing resume, obviously. That he would be really good to play Batman, I think. The only thing that I'm curious about is not how he would play Bruce Wayne. He would play a perfect Bruce Wayne. He could do the acrobatics and all the crazy stuff that Batman has to do. My only worry is how would he sound as Batman? Like what would he sound like? Can you imagine? Can you just picture Tom Cruise with the Batman mask on, like trying to be a badass? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if it would work. But anyway, he's a choice. I think he's a pretty damn good one. Maybe not the best, but I think one of the best. Another one. All right. Sam Worthington. So who is he? Basically, Sam Worthington played, if you guys remember, Terminator Salvation. He played the infiltration unit. You guys remember? And he did. I thought he did a really good job. And I actually really like Terminator Salvation. A lot of people hate it, but I'm like, I thought it was awesome, man. Really, really good. Really well done. He's been in other few movies, Clash of the Titans and those kind of stuff. He plays, what's his name? Perseus? Is that right? I forget. I haven't seen it for a while, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So I think he would be pretty good. Obviously, can do the action scenes. Also looks clean cut. Maybe dye his hair black. But after that, I mean, you're good to go. I think he can play the badass too. So he'd be another really good choice. And he's in shape too. He's pretty fit and he's pretty strong. So that would work well too. So he's another choice. Going on from there, I've seen people say The Rock. I don't know what that would be like. The Rock playing Batman. I'm going to say no right after that. I mean, okay. In some ways, okay, well, first of all, he's not Caucasian. So that's the first problem. And a lot of people, now I'm not being racist, don't get me wrong here, but a lot of people probably wouldn't like that choice because they'd be like, oh, you know, they just probably couldn't get over that, the fact that he's, you know, he's not. However, he is a monster, and he could, you know, he could be like that Batman that we never really had, like a Batman like from the comic books that's just freaking tanked out. You know, it's just humongous, and when he hits people, like actually looks like when he hits a guy like the Joker, you know, he's gonna almost kill him. Depending on on which author or artist, I mean, draws Batman. Sometimes, you know, he is drawn in that way where he just looks like this like, you know, hulking brute that if he punched you, he just break you, you know. So in that way, The Rock would be good. But other problems are he's not that great of an actor, I don't think. I mean, he's okay. Well, actually, he's a pretty good actor, but I don't know. I guess it depends on the role. But he just doesn't really look the part that much. Although I would kind of like to see it. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see how he could do as Batman, and I think that that it would work out okay. But I think they wouldn't even consider it because, again, the whole Caucasian thing. So, but whatever. Going on from there, a couple more. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So, of course, we saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt in The Dark Knight Rises. He did that whole thing, and he played. You know, he didn't play Bruce Wayne. He played John Blake, and you know, if he was to play a Batman in the next movie, and I would like to see that, actually. I would be excited to see that, but I don't know if they'd do it because I'm pretty sure in the next movie they want to actually have it be Bruce Wayne. And also, I don't know if they'd want to use him in a Justice League movie because people wouldn't really know him. You know, they wouldn't really know, like, a little bit, but not like people know Bruce Wayne and would want to see Bruce Wayne interact with Batman or Bruce Wayne as Batman interact with Superman and the rest of the characters. John Blake as Batman would be a different type of Batman, and I don't think it'd work for Justice League, but it could work for another movie if they want to do it. The only thing is that Nolan may have had an agreement with them not to tack on, so maybe they kind of can't use him in that way. Although I think it'd be interesting. I think they could do like a Batman Beyond type thing with him and have him be like Terry McGinnis type character a little bit. I mean, he could be his own character, but that whole thing, you know, with kind of like having more like a suit that has a lot more features and different stuff like that with high-tech weaponry and stuff. It'd just be cool. But he's obviously an option, although I don't think he'd play Bruce Wayne. I think he'd play, you know, John Blake as Batman. So wouldn't work for a Justice League movie. And the last option that I've come down to that I think would be really good would be Hugh Jackman. And a lot of people say, yeah, but he's Wolverine. I wouldn't like to see him play Batman. But, you know, the thing about it is, though, is that Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. He does his hair really stylized, right? When he cuts his hair, he looks like a totally different person. I mean, you know, completely different. You know, no facial hair and cuts his hair and then dyes it black and have it like really short. And, you know, he's like a completely different, you wouldn't see him in typecast. Whereas like with a lot of actors, you'll see an actor and he'll typecast, you know. But with him, I feel like he would be perfect. And actually, he's my favorite choice. I think he'd be the best because we've seen him play Wolverine and just go berserk on guys. So obviously he can do the Batman thing. He's a great actor. He can look clean cut too, obviously, because he's Hugh Jackman. And he's pretty jacked too. And not too much. Like The Rock might be too jacked to play Batman, but Hugh Jackman would be just like the right amount. Like he's jacked enough, but he's not humongous like The Rock is. So my choice, my favorite choice in an ideal world for me would be Hugh Jackman would play Batman. Again, don't care if he played Wolverine. Again, without the hair, you wouldn't really get that typecasting thing. I don't think personally, because when I see him in other movies, he doesn't have the hair. I don't think Wolverine. I just don't. I don't know why, but I mean, because the hair is so stylized, it totally gives him a different look. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Obviously, there are tons more actors out there that could play Batman. If you guys have any suggestions, feel free to write them below. We can talk about them, and let's discuss who should play the next Batman. Trev says Hugh Jackman would be his pick. Later, dudes.